Welcome back, everyone. Today we are talking all about Universal Studios, Islands of Adventure, and pretty much all of the Universal Orlando Resort construction that will be coming over the next year. There are a ton of massive changes coming to the parks, and we're here to kind of talk all about them. You can see right here behind us, we already have our first construction wall update that we need to go over today. We're starting here at Islands, and we're gonna head over to Universal Studios. We have to talk about Volcano Bay, but either way, let's just get this started. Again, right here, first update. We've been down here for 3 years. How have I never noticed this right here? It says photo spot. It has the lighthouse right there. That's crazy, but what I wanted to show you is right here, you have construction walls, and they're kind of blocking off this little circular area right there. So I don't know what they're doing. Some sort of construction, but again, that's kind of the name of the game today, to be completely honest with you. Also, didn't realize there was like a porthole down there either. Why have I never seen this? You'd think being down here for 3 years now and coming to the park dang near every day, it feels like, I would have seen a lot of this stuff, but I guess not. But it's cool to see that all of this is now kind of being worked on. I guess I didn't think it needed to be, but maybe they're just kind of sprucing it up, maybe kind of just cleaning up, power washing all that there. I'm not even gonna lie, with how much we've been going to Universal for Horror Nights, I genuinely feel like it's been forever since I've been over here to Islands. I know it's only been a few weeks, but I don't know, it just feels like it's been a long time. It has been a while since I have seen the Adventure Begins sign. Actually, again, it hasn't been that long. I'm saying it like I haven't been here in like forever. It hasn't been that long. This is kind of unique. They had all the butterbeer stuff here before, but now they have this like dark arts section as I'm kind of getting into the park right now. I've never seen all this before. You have Bellatrix, like the mask here, $110. Tom Riddle, his wand. You have these snakes, a diary. I don't know, it's kind of cool. A little setup here, a little bit more over there on that wall too. So looks like they kind of changed this out. Again, this was like the butterbeer stand not that long ago when it was butterbeer season. Before we start covering some of the updates, I do want to go get a beautiful look over the lagoon here. Sometimes I just like to walk out here, you know, just like take in the vibes of Islands. It does look nice out today. We finally have some blue skies. The past like 2 days, we have oh, they're doing testing right now on Velocicoaster, so something must have happened. But over the past like 2 days, we've had pretty rainy weather overall. But right now, it looks pretty good out here. Nice little breeze. It is starting to cool down a little bit. Sounds like Dr. Doom's is going off right now. I just saw Hulk a little bit ago. Feels like we're on slight delays. Oh no, I think it's coming right now. Behind the trees. There they go, not testing, fully working. But yes, we are heading right over there to the Lost Continent to talk a little bit about what is going on as the ducks are making their way across the lagoon here. Also, if you don't mind, please consider subscribing to the channel if you guys like some Universal news content. I know we've been very deep in Halloween Horror Nights recently, but we are kind of shifting a little bit into more regular content with Halloween Horror Nights as we are starting to get into the season a lot more. But again, we are talking all about construction today, the future of Universal Studios, and again, Universal Orlando Resort as a whole. There is a lot to go over. Well, I just heard Velocicoaster screaming, so that means people are back on it. So it looks like that delay is over. But we are heading on to this bridge here, and look at that already. A bit of a tight squeeze here, but we do have construction walls up here on the bridge. Now, this might not be anything pertaining to the construction that is set to happen inside of the Lost Continent, but it is still interesting to see that we have these walls up. My guess is they're kind of touching up like these, like right here. You can see the lighting and kind of the wood here that's holding it in place. That looks a little faded as far as the lighting and stuff goes, so they might just be touching some of that up. Obviously, the bridge itself could just be getting some touch-ups as well. I don't know if this is anything to do with the construction that will be happening in the future, but it is still unique nonetheless to see that all this is going on. Let's see if we can see anything on the other side. Yeah, so there's just a lot of like pipes and things like that, so they might be redoing quite a bit of this, to be honest with you. I'm still getting blinded by lights over at Islands of Adventure now instead of Universal. How funny is that? But let's walk in, let's talk a little bit about what is going on here and what has been filed for the Lost Continent, in which I imagine we will not see this sign for too much longer. My guess is this ends up in like an HHN house or something in so many years or something. You know, I feel like once it's gone, they'll end up using it for something, right? Let's see if there are any other construction walls up or anything yet. Doesn't really look like it here. I see some stuff back there. Let's kind of peel around. So I am not seeing any other construction walls. We just have that little, like, I don't know, mini wall section, which probably has been here honestly for quite a while. The water is still flowing out of the mouth. One interesting thing, if you have standing water, that's how you get bugs. So if you have water flowing, oh look, there's a duck down there, just hanging out. But if you have standing water, yes, you tend to get bugs. So flowing water tends to help kind of reduce that. So that could be why they're keeping it going, so that way it's not just like standing water, or to at least bring some like aesthetic to this area, so it's not just looking like a ride that's been closed down. At least it still looks like some sort of piece. You have the water, you get the flowing water, so at least it kind of comes together. Now you know I gotta head over to one of my favorite spots to come and talk, which is going to be right here on the back side of Mythos. We're gonna kind of head right over here and just chat. Also, you get beautiful views over here. You can see Popeyes right there too. Velocicoaster coming up over the top hat. You just get a nice view of like the entire lagoon from another angle. You can see Spider-Man pretty good from over here too. The biggest thing is if you have any like sensory issues, or if you get anxious, or you just need like a minute kind of alone, or just in like a quieter place, this tends to be a pretty nice spot. Again, not the quietest by any means, because you'll still hear, you know, the screeching of the roller coasters and everybody screaming and everything like that, but it is still nice, pretty serene over here. So let's talk a little bit about what is going on here with the Lost Continent. So Universal, hi Velocicoaster, just filed a permit for the demolition of, I think, 4.9 acres here inside of the Lost Continent. So that means probably a majority of this is gone. I mean, 4.9 acres is a lot of acreage. A lot of people were originally wondering what could replace the Lost Continent? What would you put in here? And a lot of people originally were talking about Zelda. That was kind of like the big one, right? It was like, how do we get Zelda inside? I don't actually think they'll put Zelda here, number one, because I think you probably want to keep it attached to like Nintendo. I would imagine they want like a huge kind of area inside of Epic. Obviously, like Epic being so grand, you could have Mario, you could have Donkey Kong, you could have Zelda. So I think it makes a little bit more sense to go over there. I see why people thought it could go here though. But also then I've been hearing Wicked, Lord of the Rings, things like that. Not as much with those two. Lord of the Rings definitely the bottom, and then Wicked, you know, a little bit. I also don't know on either of those. I have no idea, right? They haven't announced anything. I haven't even heard rumors of what it could be. I know some people were predicting we could get like an extension of Harry Potter as well. I don't see that happening. This is too much space. I don't think that they would take up like all of this area to add more Harry Potter, but I could be wrong there as well. I don't see that happening. We're gonna continue on with some of the construction updates here. I just want to let you guys know that here inside of the Lost Continent, they will be demolishing 4.9 acres. And again, it includes shops, rides, shows, everything. So expect this area to have a lot of demolition. And I don't know how it's gonna work. I imagine we'll be able to go through it, like pathing, and they'll leave that open. But there could be a weird chance where you have to like go all the way around the park. That would be crazy. But yeah, exciting stuff. New construction, hopefully happening soon. Obviously, we know Rip Ride, which we'll be covering in a little bit, is happening for 26. So 2026, I think, is going to be an insane year for construction, which means it might not be the best year to visit. I don't know. We'll talk about that more in another video. But you know, if there's a lot of closures happening, depending on what you want to ride, it could kind of make or break if you want to wait another year before visiting. The bigger question is, what do you do with Mythos? It's a 10-time winner of the #1 theme park restaurant in the world. So, I mean, what do you do with it, you know? I did hear something cool where somebody was saying they thought if you put Zelda here, you could put like the Deku tree here, and then you have like the restaurant inside of the tree. It'd be kind of cool, right? But then it's like, I don't know, almost Rainforest Cafe-y. Now, as you can see, no construction walls, nothing really happening out here. So nothing totally yet. Again, they just filed the permit, so we just know it's happening. But I don't think we'll see too many changes until they're ready to do that. Let's head over to our next closure happening in 2026. This is going to be for almost the entire year for this next one. You know, I've yet to try that strawberry crispy cookie. I feel like it's always out, and it looks like it's out again today. Look at that, they have the donuts, but no cookie. One day. By the way, 45 minutes for Velocicoaster. It is about 2 p.m. in the afternoon on a Thursday. Also, I want to point something out. There is no Halloween Horror Nights tonight. It was Tuesday and Wednesday this week. I wanted to make it out to Tuesday because I thought, I was like, I don't know, that could be fun, right? Doing a HHN on a Tuesday. They've done it before for like weird reasons. I think tonight is like a corporate buyout thing, but they did it like 2 or 3 years ago from the hurricane. If you guys remember, we had the hurricanes that came through. They kind of like closed it down, and then they allowed like, I think it was hotel guests or people with a reservation, something. I think it was hotel guests only though. They were able to go to HHN for like kind of like a makeup day. So that was kind of unique. How funny is this? It's currently closed right now, even though it's not technically getting closed until next year, which we're gonna go talk about. Tell me that's not insanely ironic though, that it just closed down for the day. Now again, it will be closing from January 5th, I believe, until November 19th. Which is quite a while. So if you guys are not coming until Christmas, you're probably okay, assuming that everything opens up smoothly. If you're coming at any time between then, unfortunately, Jurassic Park River Adventure will be closed. Now let's talk a little bit about it. And now, much like everything inside of the theme park industry, people have been circulating rumors on what could be happening here at Jurassic Park River Adventure. A lot of people think we might be getting a retheme. Are we getting Jurassic World finally? I don't think so. My guess is they're gonna end up touching up a lot of the animatronics that don't work right now. There's some that don't work, or they're just kind of a little finicky. I could also see them doing some painting. Obviously, the sun here in Florida just destroys paint on stuff in like one season. I feel like you can already see it over at Epic Universe. There's already a little bit of wear. So getting like that touch up, I think it will be nice. But yeah, my guess is they're just gonna do a lot of work on the actual ride itself. I would not expect to see a Jurassic World overlay. I could be totally wrong. I just don't think that's gonna be the case. I think they're gonna keep it Jurassic Park. I think they're gonna keep everything pretty much the same. They're just cleaning it up, making sure everything works right. Maybe cleaning up the audio a little bit or something if they wanna do that. Maybe like some little details that they wanna do to the ride, maybe, you know, like grass or like trees or something they might wanna put in. But overall, I think the ride will remain the same. I don't think we're gonna get Jurassic World. Again, these are all my thoughts and ideas. This isn't concrete. They haven't stated anything, but my guess is it's a refurb, not a retheme, and it will just be cleaning everything up. But again, January to November, a long time. It will be open for Christmas, but again, it gets kind of cool. I feel like the water rides are not nearly as busy during the winter months, but I don't know. We'll see. Wow, it says 10-minute wait right now for standby. That's insane. Oh, we just missed the cart, but yes, the outdoor section is back open over here. Also, like the 3D elements, I believe, right, have been removed. I haven't ridden it since. I think Nicole has done it, but yeah, they have improved the outside, kind of got it back up and working, I should say. Not necessarily improved, but have done their maintenance that they needed to do. As I'm walking out of Islands, it looks like they are installing new security points over here. So are we gonna have a new walk path to the hotels? Because right now you come in over by Margaritaville. Will they end up changing it? Is this going to be something new? What are they preparing here? As we make our way over to Universal Studios, I need to point out there's like nothing left right here anymore. Now they've got this giant machine. I don't know what that is. Let's get a closer look. We might be able to get a better look from like up there in City Walk looking in, but I'm just coming from Islands right now. But what the heck is that? It looks like a giant like drill machine. Yeah, you can see kind of like the spiral look there. It looks like a giant driller of some sort that's gonna just like drill into the ground. Maybe for like posts or something? Yeah, over there it looks like they have like supports, like those like black kind of circles. Just looks like a big base. So my guess is we might actually like see something way sooner than we think. I am also a little surprised with that there, because they are roping off some water, which kind of has me curious as what could be happening, especially because they have a lot of this closed off. Yeah, wow, the only remaining elements as of now are this turn right here basically the bay and like the actual hub, the chain hill into the inverted loop, and then it ends right over there. This is it that remains. Signage is gone. Also, it does say Volcano Bay Nights up there. I want to talk a little bit about Volcano Bay while we got a second. Really quick, is this sign new? Halloween Horror Nights? I feel like this one wasn't there. Let's talk about Volcano Bay. Next year, in 2026, October, they will be closing it down till March of 2027. They're supposed to remove the Tapu Tapu. I almost thought that was supposed to be this year, but maybe not. I looked to double check, and it is of 2026. So next year, by the end of the year, they're going to close it down. I know that they planned space, I thought, for an expansion at Volcano Bay. So I would be surprised if they added an expansion in that short of amount of time. My guess is they're gonna do some touch-ups, probably just needs to close down for a little while, and then just do some maintenance, remove the Tapu Tapu, etc. But yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I thought I heard that they left space for like expansion inside of Volcano Bay, and we are coming up on, I don't know, enough years at this point that I could see them adding another little section of a few more slides. It could also help, considering you're gonna take away Tapu Tapu, so the lines, I imagine, are going to get pretty long. So yeah, I could see them doing that at some point. I don't know if that's what's happening, but again, you're looking at about, what, 5-6 months or so right there for the closure of Volcano Bay in 2026. Also, yes, they did bring back Volcano Bay Nights. They kind of have this like Scooby-Doo theme going on. They got like, you know, a little villain in there and everything. So I think it's trying to play a little bit into like the Halloween season. It's not like overwhelmingly Halloween or anything, but you have Scooby-Doo and a little bit of that in there. So if you guys liked Volcano Bay Nights, or you guys wanted to go to it but you didn't have the chance to, you can. Again, now it is here for kind of this fall season, which is actually kind of nice because I know a lot of people actually were interested, but they weren't going to be here during like those few months that they had it going on. It is weird looking over here and seeing nothing related to Rip Ride, by the way. Like, you see nothing here, you just see like the crane right there. Let's talk just a little bit about what I think might be coming here. Again, heavily rumored is Fast and Furious. Now, no statements have been made by Universal as to what it could be. I know a lot of people are predicting it's going to be Fast and Furious. I would love to see Ghostbusters. I feel like Ghostbusters has made a resurgence recently, so I feel like it's kind of holding some kind of weight and significance. I know a lot of people are talking about, you know, the potential of like Back to the Future out in the UK, so I don't know. We'll end up seeing what ends up happening with it, but I have no idea what is coming over here, but I would love to say Ghostbusters. I just don't think it's going to be that. If I had to put money on something, I would probably say Fast and Furious. You know, they just built the one, or they're in the middle of building the one out in Hollywood, so they're going to have a good like running kind of idea of what, you know, they had to do. If they had to do any patents for it, spend money on it, they're going to want to utilize that. So it makes sense that they would do that here as well. But at the end of the day, like any of the technology, you know, it's kind of there. It's just whatever theme you want to do. It's still going to be bizarre because like you still have to use like that backlot area and like the space in between the sound stages. So like the theming, I don't think is going to be great no matter what you do, because it's still kind of like this back alley vibe. But I don't know, I'm hopeful for it. I think it'll be cool whatever it is. I just hope that it stands out, much like Rip Ride did, where it's like you look at the park, you know, off of I-4, you can see, you know, it out in the distance. So I'm just hoping we get a lot of that when they end up building it. So that way we kind of have this like fun thing to look at as you walk into the park. We'll end up seeing here probably midway through next year, we'll start to see stuff more vertical. I would assume at some point they'll be starting construction, obviously after HHN season is my guess. So we'll see more here in like the next few months. The last things I want to talk about would be Simpsons. And over here, Fast and Furious, as we kind of just talked a little bit about Fast and Furious. Now, I don't know how many of you guys know this, but Simpsons, the contract is done in 2028, actually. So it is gone coming up here in just a few years. I know there's been speculation that they might cut it in 2026, especially with all of the construction that they're doing and all these changes that they are making. I don't know if that's the case. Obviously, we know that Disney owns Simpsons now, but the contract for like the theme park stuff, I believe with Universal ends in 2028. So they could stop it early and start to do construction over there. I don't really know what the plans are or what would replace it. I know a lot of people would love to see Pokemon whether that's over where the Lost Continent is now or over here in replacement of Springfield. I think both of those are actually decent options. I like the idea of maybe like a Pokemon Snap ride. You could do like an indoor ride over inside of Lost Continent, or you could retheme like the Simpsons ride, aka the old Back to the Future ride, and you could turn that into like some sort of like Pokemon ride instead. But as far as Fast and Furious goes, the other thing that's interesting is if you put a Fast and Furious ride at the front of the park, what do you do with this ride? Because then you have like 2 locations for Fast and Furious. You typically try and keep like rides together or like, you know, themes together. You don't really want to have things separated. So I don't know. That's where a little bit of confusion comes in play. Maybe they end up getting rid of Fast and Furious and then you put something else in its place and then you just have the one Fast and Furious ride over there. It'd be interesting. You know, it'd be very interesting to see what they end up doing. I'd like to see some change to Supercharged here if they are going to do a Fast and Furious coaster over there. If they're not going to do it, then obviously you could leave this alone if you want. You know, for me, I'd really love to see Universal get back to riding the movies and going through those experiences. I just don't think it'll ever be that way again. You know, if you look at like Earthquake, Twister, things like that, where it's like you get to see almost like how the films were made. You see like these like practical elements being used. I thought that was so cool. And I'm sure like that draw isn't as interesting to people as something like a big thrill ride or whatever. But I do see like that swing back right now to that interest and stuff like that. So maybe it could work. But I just don't know if Universal is necessarily like riding the movies like you used to. I mean, you are riding the movies in the sense like you have all these like IPs and franchises that you're like being part of on the rides, but you're not doing like these like practical elements like they used to do. You know, you're not seeing like the explosions and then the twister come through and things like that. It's not as like real, or you know, like Jaws, right? Like that real life experience. And I get that was a little bit less practical, I guess, in a sense, but I'd love to see them go back to the roots of Universal Studios, where you ride the movies, where you experience like filmmaking in a sense in those elements. I think it was just so cool. I mean, something I always remember is just the distinct smell inside of so many of those rides. But yeah, I mean, what do you guys think as far as what could be coming to the parks here, as far as replacements for Rip Ride, you know, the updates, the construction, the Lost Continent, right? Like that's a big question mark for a lot of people. Again, Pokemon could potentially go over there if they want to do something Pokemon based. I don't know if they would. I don't know what the draw is here versus somewhere else. I don't know how strong that would be here in Orlando, but it's very, very interesting to see all of the construction, and a lot of this is happening in 2026. Now, I have heard a few more small things that could be happening as far as construction goes. I don't want to comment on it right now because nothing's been announced, but just be aware there might be some extra small construction things outside of the big ones that we've seen that could be happening next year as well, potentially by even, I think, the end of this year. Depends on if those rumors hold true and if they end up moving forward with it. But do be prepared for even more construction than what we talked about today. I do also just want to point out how many theme parks are doing stuff, making new things and bringing new experiences to guests. Dollywood, I believe, in 2026 is opening up a new attraction. That looks awesome. I think over at SeaWorld, they're in the midst of trying to open up a new attraction as well for, I think, next year. I know over inside of Cedar Point, I think they just came out with like Siren's Curse or whatever, so a new roller coaster. Like, now is a great time to be a theme park enthusiast because a lot of parks are doing stuff. Even over in Europe, I know a lot of you guys are getting a lot of fun stuff happening over there. So it's cool to see how much development is coming along with theme parks in general, and just how much build is going on and how much they're investing in these parks. Now, all that being said, we are done here for today's video. We just kind of wanted to check in on everything, let you guys know what to expect in 2026, ride closures, what's coming, you know, the refurbs, everything like that. Hopefully everything is kind of scheduled and on time. We'd love to see everything potentially even get done early. Obviously there's a chance it could be pushed back, but we'll just have to kind of keep an eye on everything. I'll be keeping you guys updated throughout the season as all this is going on. But again, 2026 is going to be a huge year for construction at Universal Orlando Resort, and I am all for it. Hopefully you guys are too. you'll have to let me know in the comments. Do you guys plan on visiting next year? Are you waiting till 2027? I know a lot of people plan on coming to Epic next year. They thought, they kind of wanted to wait 1 year before they decided to come. So that'll be interesting to see how the timelines work there too. But either way, that is it for today's video. Again, thank you guys for hanging out with me here at Universal Orlando Resort. If you don't mind, please give this video a thumbs up. And guys, thank you so much for being here.